No, you have more.
So I just clicked on it.
Right there, black.
That's,
Right up here. Right,
oh,
right up there.
sorry, didn't see that.
Right.
Thank you.
So, we have black, all right? So we're gonna make some lightning. Now to make some lightning, we want to have, we're gonna grab our brush tool, and let's see what color we have here. We want a nice white color, so grab your brush tool, right? Looks like a brush. Click on here, and we're gonna grab white. And we want make sure that your brush has a little bit of thickness at the beginning. So remember, all your tools, you can go down here and you can find different kind of widths for them. So I'm going to grab this one. Let's see how that looks. That's a good strike for the beginning. You can even make it a little thicker if you want. Yeah, that's not too bad. Okay? So what we're going to do is we're going to start at the beginning of the stage here at one corner, and we're going to go down in another direction, and we're going to do this. It's going to be a frame by frame animation. So I'm going to do this. I'm going to go like this. I'm going to climb like this. Right? That's the first part of my strike. Kind of off the stage and just coming into the stage at the upper left hand corner. Okay?
Ooh.
I'm going to add an F6, which will make a copy of that frame, and then I'm going to add to that frame by coming down a little further. I'm going to hit an F6 again. This time I'm going to get a little smaller size of the brush and start tapering it a little bit, like this. And I'm getting my eraser here so I can kind of like, I don't want it to be curved here. So I'm just kind of erasing little areas on here. I want to make the bolt look legit, as you would say. So I'm just kind of sculpting it a little bit here as I work my way through. Okay. So this is what I have so far. 1, 2, 3, coming down here, just like that. Scrubber playhead, are you getting multiple frames now with the lightning bolt slowly coming down?
Yeah.
Because I've got to hit F6.
Because you're going, oh, well then maybe you want to rewind a little bit. Don't forget, F6 very important for this, right? So, fortunately we're only 3 frames in, right?
Yeah.
And it's a lightning bolt, so you know, it doesn't have to be a perfect straight line. So we got this going. I'm going to hit another F6. With my brush tool, I'm going to start to sculpt it out here like this. And that actually might be a little too far. I'm going to just kind of bring it in just a bit here. There we are. Now, what I think is actually kind of cool with the lightning bolt is I like to do this with my lightning bolt. I like to come with my eraser tool and kind of shave off little pieces, like little bits of energy that are kind of coming out here. That's my imagination. Little bits of energy like that. See? Kind of makes for a cooler effect. Hit another F6. Lightning bolt is now going to fork in one direction and another. And again, I don't like these little round areas, so I'm coming back with my eraser tool and just kind of sculpting out the bolt a little bit more to my liking.
Okay.
You can make your bolt any way you want. And I'm just taking the eraser and kind of carving into it a little bit. Get a little bit bigger. There we go. There we go. What I'm trying to get rid of on my lightning bolt are any of these little round areas here, because that takes away from the, I don't know, it just takes away from the look of it. Like that, see? So I got this.
So for some reason I can't, I was in the brush tool, and I can't, it won't go on now. So I was doing the, oh, now it is, okay, never mind. Oh, wait a minute. So,
Okay.
F6,
Yeah, F6 and then draw your bolt.
okay,
Okay. All right.
then,
Well, I don't know why you want to make a curvy bolt.
I just wondered, yeah, I
Gotcha.
wasn't thinking of that at all.
You know, just kind of like
Thinking
jag
just-
it a little bit.
Right, okay.
My eraser will erase.
Mine won't either.
Your eraser won't erase.
No.
So you got your eraser, you're trying to erase and won't do that.
Yes.
Okay. So one of the things you might want to check when you've got either your eraser or your brush tool is down here where you have the eraser mode. Click on that and make sure it's erase normal. Is it set to erase normal?
Mhm.
Click on erase normal. And now try it and make sure that you can't erase, because you should be able to erase.
No.
Let me check.
I have no idea what I'm doing. Okay. Where's the, oh, there it is. So, I got the erase, not that I'm gonna use, oh, this is the erase? No, that's the eraser shape.
What's our erase setting
If you click on
This
thing,
here, oh, eraser mode, got it, erase normal. Okay, mine is, okay.
you have to, I had to make it black. Actually, I made the pencil, I don't know what I did.
I had it, where's my brush?
I think my stroke is black.
How many frames do you have? I have like 10 already. I think I did this wrong. Oh, whatever. Whatever.
It's,
I don't,
it's striking.
I mean,
Mine looks terrible.
Look at my settings and see what we've got for yours.
Okay.
Usually there shouldn't be a problem. Scale content, let's try here. Settings. What you can do, Arrow, I'm not sure why that's actually acting like that. We can
Yeah.
go back. But you can also, if you want to scope it out this way, you can also take the pieces out.
Yeah.
The lasso tool as well, and you come back over to there if you need to. I'm just gonna say that. Let's take a look at this.
What
That's
are
it.
you doing?
No, that's fine, I'm gonna do something. There's all these frames. Good one. We'll keep going with it. What we're gonna do is we can always save this out, and we might wanna try, sometimes it acts this way, quitting and restarting it. I
Okay.
don't know why.
Okay.
But that is weird, because your eraser set is normal. Let me just ask you, when you have your brush set, is that also set to normal? Check that too.
Brush.
Yeah, click on your brush, and when you're painting with your brush, is that set to normal too?
What do you mean by set to normal?
Like your brush tool, if you select it,
Right.
you have these options underneath here, and under brush mode, is it set to normal?
Yeah.
Okay, all right. Well, you're doing everything right.
Oh,
So I'm gonna, let's see, where are we at here? Then to here, hit an F6.
Ouch.
I'm gonna add a little bit more. And F6, and I'm gonna make my brush a little smaller. F6. Like this. Now, as I start to get to the end here, what I'm going to start to do is I'm going to start to erase from the beginning. So as I get to this frame, I'm like frame 6 or 7, I'm gonna come back with my eraser. And Ara, you're just gonna have to scoop out pieces from the back. Unless you wanna try saving this and then try opening it again,
Yeah.
and you might wanna try that. So here's, it comes to here, F6 again. And this is going to grow this way a little bit, and this is going to come out this way. And at the same time, I'm going to start erasing even more.
So hit F6 and then erase?
Yeah, so what I'm doing is, when I got to this point, Simeon,
Yeah.
then I start to erase here as I'm adding here.
Okay.
So your lightning has sort of like this flow to it, like,
Yep.
see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's like it's running through.
So,
It's a cool effect. Then I'm going to hit an F6 again.
and erase from the top.
Right, from where it started. You're
Okay.
racing from where it started and following the path.
Okay.
So it makes it look like it's flowing along.
Okay.
Alright, so let's see the brush. Make my
So
tip
then
like that. And then like this. Right. Is that not working for you? So if you follow my frames, look at my frames. I'm coming in like this. I'm splitting apart. When I start to split apart, then I start to erase here and keep adding the other way. See what I'm saying? Erase, add. And then I add it here, and I'm going to erase some more.
And then you have to,
Oh,
like,
wait,
now when you
oh, God.
go to the next frame, you have to erase everything you just already erased.
No, because it's going as I go along, you see?
Well, that's not how it's happening with me, but maybe, are you?
Well, let's back
instantly-
up here. I'll back up for you, okay? All right. So, if you get where I'm at. Go back to where you sort of were before your bolt started breaking off, okay?
Okay.
So here I am. I'm going to hit an F6, right? I'm going to start to draw onto my lightning bolt, right? And as I start to do that, I'm adding where I want, by the way. I'm sort of working it out. I'm going to come back to the eraser. Just simply start erasing from the back.
Yeah, because I already have, like, my whole, like, branched out, so I.
Yeah, so you want it, you got to time it right. It's all about your timing, right? So you see this right here? Here's where I start to, now, right?
Okay.
Then I'm going to hit an F6 again. And when I hit an F6 again, I'm going to start getting the branching going out further, right? As I come back here and start to erase again further here. And you know what? I'll leave little pieces behind because I think that's kind of cool. You know what I mean? Like that. So if you look at this, it goes. See?
Mhm.
F6. Brush more out here. Maybe a little bit of bolt out this way. You want to keep kind of action going on both sides towards the end. It looks more legit. F6. There you go. And you can add little tiny pieces here at the end too, which is kind of a neat effect here. So even as a little tiny breaking off like that. Little fingers. Just frame by frame. No tweening involved. What are you chewing? It sounds crunchy, munchy, good. Sandy? What are you chewing? It sounds crunchy, munchy, good.
It is loud. I'm sorry.
But no, I'm just saying, what is it? It sounds good.
The cheddar
Oh, those
pieces,
are good.
the pretzel things.
Yeah,
Are they
those are
good?
good.
I've been
Did you get them
addicted
from the
ever
vending
since.
Did you
I
bring
got
enough
the
for
vending
everyone?
machine.
Yeah.
Anybody want? Sure.
No, I'm just
No.
kidding. I'm just kidding.
They're messy though.
Well, just make sure you don't leave little cheese sniblets on the keyboard.
No, that's okay.
Schniblets. Schniblets.
It's
I like
more
their
on the
I like
fingers.
their sweet and salty ones. They've got this salted caramel one. It's really good. Oh, they're good.
The only one I will
Sweet
never
things with
eat is
salt.
honey
That's
nut.
so gross.
Do you not like sweet and sour chicken and stuff?
I like.
Do you?
No, not
Okay.
necessarily.
All right, all right.
I don't like Take 5.
Do you like caramel?
No.
Okay, well then there you go.
Well, yeah, kind of.
Then I won't argue with you. You're
I
consistent.
don't like the way it sticks to the roof of my mouth.
Okay. Well, you probably don't like it. It's kind of good caramel is kind of subtly salty and buttery.
Yeah, I don't know why people put sea salt in all their caramel either. It's just like that's gross.
Well, we just can't all be as well planned as you when we do our noshing. Do you eat sushi?
Yes.
See, I don't understand sushi.
Yeah.
Yeah,
No, you don't like any sort of fish, so
I
I don't
know.
know what you're talking
Well,
about.
I don't like raw fish, that's for sure. Ugh.
Yeah, raw fish.
My wife loves it. She keeps,
It's an acquired taste. How
yes.
about that?
So's beer, and I just can't
I
stand
don't like
beer.
beer either.
Me neither.
Hey, especially Miller Lite.
It's only good when you
I'm
brew it
so
yourself.
pumped to
And
actually go
Oh,
to
do you do your
the
own
Lay's.
brewing?
actually, I used to.
Steve Swanson did a lot of his own brewing.
I really
I
don't
think he
drink
still does.
a lot anymore.
I remember he was in competitions and stuff, wasn't he?
Yeah, I talked to him about it a couple times.
Who's Steve Swanson? Is he a teacher?
He was a print teacher here.
Oh.
I don't know about anybody else, but I'm really excited to actually try that new Angry Orchard Rosé cider. Maybe because I just like rosé a lot.
I'm not a big Angry Orchard guy. I can
I
drink.
tried it.
It's like Strongbow.
Okay,
We have
okay.
Angry Orchard.
No, I said I don't know what the ingredient is.
Oh, it's
I know Angry
oh.
Orchard means.
Okay, I was gonna say you don't want Angry Orchard. That's a problem. Rosé, it's like it's a wine. It's this fancy schmancy pink wine. They have blue wine now too, and I'm really excited to try that.
Something tells me that would leave your teeth blue.
Yeah, probably.
Hence the name.
Sounds like mouthwash.
Yeah, like scope.
It's like a different way of like making the grapes into.
I remember in the 80s they had Zima.
I remember Zima.
I remember
It
Z.
was like a clear beer. Or maybe it was not in the 80s, man. I think it was early 90s.
Malt liquor.
Was it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was stronger than your normal beer. It had kind of a lemony.
It was like a 7 or 9%.
And I remember Bartles and James wine coolers.
Oh gosh.
I know, I like
Oh
the
my
packaging a lot.
God.
How about Boone's Farm?
Oh,
Oh gosh. Yeah.
Mad Dog.
Oh, there you go. Mad Dog.
Yeah.
Blue-
Yeah.
Thunderbird.
Blue Nun.
There's definitely a change.
Yeah, there is a general. Yeah, you're right. Liquors
Yeah.
do.
Like I'm listening to you
Just
guys
gonna
talk,
say
and I'm like,
that.
I have no idea what any of this stuff is.
Mad Dog 21.
Yep. Yeah, it's like this morning at work, we were all talking about like what songs were like popular in the 80s, and they were all asking me, oh, do you know this song and this, who's this person, this person?
You're like, no.
No, and they're like, oh my gosh, do you know who Frank Sinatra is? I'm like, yes, I know who he is.
So do you guys have a good bolt? Go back and forth, scrub the playhead back and forth, and you know you should hopefully have something that's got a little bit of movement to it. Doesn't that, I mean, as long as it's got movement, that's what we're looking for. Because actually, Animate's gonna help us create a really cool lightning bolt if we don't have something like that completely. We can actually create some cool effects with it. But we're gonna be making a nested animation of a lightning bolt that we can put into our scene whenever we want. Do you guys have something?
Mm-hmm.
So hopefully the very last frame should have nothing, and the very first frame have something, right?
Yep.
Now I do want you to do something before we go further, and I want you to grab all those frames, and I do want you to shift click and grab them all, so they should all be orange. So you go to the end, you hold down your shift key, go to the beginning, and they should all be selected. And then I want you to grab that whole mess of frames like that, and just move them over one. And what that's going to do is that's going to create a blank keyframe at the beginning of your animation. Because we don't want the lightning bolt to constantly be there. We want it to nothing, and then we get our bolt, if that makes sense, right? Okay?
Somehow, I guess I got a little carried away. I'm like at 45 frames.
Oh, that's a long bolt. Yeah, that's holy crap. Well,
Right.
it'll be just a special lightning storm. That's all.
It's just an extra.
So you just have some very special lightning. Okay, that's okay. So what I want you guys to do is I want you to select all those frames, including the blank keyframe at the beginning, and I want you to control click them and go copy frames. Just like we've been doing. Copy frames. Control click them all. You know, shift click, grab them all. Control click any frame there because they're all
Got it.
selected,
Copy
and go
frames.
copy
Okay.
frames. And then we're going to go to insert new symbol, and we're going to call this lightning. And we're going to actually, I want you to make it a movie clip. I do want you to make a movie clip. So make sure it's a movie clip. And then I want you to click OK. I want you to go to that first frame inside your movie clip, or not movie clip, but your symbol that we're calling lightning. Control click and paste frames. And there's your lightning inside this symbol.
So go to number 1
Right, and
and
paste it
control
in.
click.
Yeah.
Okay. Paste frames.
So you have this little nothing, just like that. Okay? Scrub your playhead back and forth inside your symbol, and you know you're in your symbol because it says at the top, Scene 1, lightning.
Yep.
And you're inside your symbol. Right?
Well, yeah, but I thought I erased everything, now I have
Okay.
leftovers.
I can't get. I copied the frames. I got
Okay.
a symbol. I modified.
So are you inside the symbols timeline? Yep. So just control
did
click
that.
right there.
I
Control
did
click
that.
and paste frames.
Okay, I did that.
Okay, so you didn't copy the frames. You thought you did. Go back to your
Okay.
scene. Go back to your scene 1 by clicking there.
Okay.
Okay. You have to shift click on all of them.
Yeah.
So they're all selected.
Okay.
There. Now
Okay.
control click right in anywhere you want. Control click there. Copy
Copy.
frames.
All right. Then go back and paste.
Yep.
Oh no.
Did you make it a
modify,
symbol?
Modify
Make
the
it-
symbol.
Go.
Make it a
Yeah. Go.
symbol.
You want, yeah. I think
Convert
she
the
may
symbol.
already. She may already have the symbol. Can I just check? over here?
Sure.
Let's I want to look at your. Let's reset this. I don't like this at all.
I hate the way it does reset itself. Let's move
There we go.
around.
Because otherwise you can't see your library. So you already
Okay.
have the symbol. So now
Okay,
you're about to
good.
create a new symbol that you didn't
Okay.
need.
So now.
Just double click inside there.
in here. Oh,
here.
in here.
Double click. No, double click the symbol. All right.
Okay. Now I
And you
paste.
next. Yeah, let's get rid of this here. Let's go back here just a bit. All right, we're double clicking inside your
Right.
symbol. There we go. Leftover piece of artwork, I guess, from earlier. Do you like your tools over here?
No, they're fine over there.
So let's
Yeah,
move them then.
But they were just moved a minute ago, but they were here all along, but then when we reset it, they went over there.
All right.
But yeah, it makes more sense to have it here.
Okay. All right. So we're just gonna click this here and get rid of that, and then control click there and paste.
Okay.
Paste frames.
Uh-huh.
All right. Now
Now play
get
it.
back to your scene. Yeah, you play it if you want to, but.
Okay. Like this?
All right.
They'll affect me in the long run.
So now we're at scene. Let's get rid of all these frames. Let's just let's create a new layer. Let's take this layer, select it, and delete it. Okay.
We're creating a new layer, and we're taking the first layer that we did with,
All that stuff, we don't need it anymore. We
'Cause
have it in a
it's
symbol.
okay, in the symbol. Got it.
All right. Now we're gonna go to the library. We're gonna go to the lightning, and we're gonna drag that bolt right out there onto the stage. Now you're like, I don't see anything. What the hell? I don't see anything, right?
You cannot place a symbol inside itself.
Are you on the scene?
Gotta click on scene.
You gotta click back to your scene. Get back to your scene.
Ah, that'll do it.
Again, you gotta watch that always, okay?
layer.
Because then when we start, once we
I
start
did.
doing this nesting thing, guys, that's where
Didn't
things
we
get
layer?
messy because you're not paying attention to like where
We
am
are,
I?
but we're
Right, where am I?
trying.
Okay, so now I want you to hit Command Return, and you should see your lightning bolt come out onto the little scene.
Yes.
Right?
Hmm.
Cool, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now then, I want you to click on your Properties palette for a second. So make your Properties palette. And I want you to select that little movie clip. You can see it. It's got a little dot in there to show you that's a movie clip. Notice, of course, you clearly can't see anything, but maybe a little bit of something, right?
Right.
How do
You might not even see that. You may just see a little registration point. Does not matter.
So you want us to select it.
Select it.
Did you get the movie clip on the, whatever reason why it's not dragging on?
Let's see.
You gotta go to scene.
Did you have to,
Let's take a look.
I missed something? Going to
I
page
hate when I'm so hungry I end up eating like a candy bar.
Oh, you don't have a
It's just so
keyframe.
unhealthy, you
You
know?
have to create, yeah.
Hmm?
Like
No, go
when
to
I'm
the
hungry,
beginning,
like eating a
one.
candy bar.
Oh,
It just
yeah.
seems like,
Control
want
click
some,
and sort of
you want
like-
oh no,
some?
thanks, but I'll keep eating more of it.
There you go. Alright, now drag the lightning bolt over. Okay.
All right, now I want you to select the lightning bolt, what little there is of it, and you can just go like this with your selection tool. Now, if you have your properties here, I want you to click down here where it says filters. And I want you to go where, if it's like collapsed like this, click it open. And you'll see like this a plus sign and it says properties, right?
Yep.
I want you to click on the plus sign. Do you see where it says glow? Go to
Yes.
glow.
Oh, wow.
Now, if you hit Command Return, you might not see very much. There's a little bit of glow, so we're going to amp it up. With that movie clip still selected, I'm going to go to the blur right here. You see this? And I'm just going to scroll this to a higher percentage number. And I'm going to go to this strength, and I'm going to go to a higher percentage on my strength, like 143, 145, whatever, and 25. Now hit Command Return and look at your lightning bolt.
What did you make the blur, Dave? Like 20 or?
It's not, yeah, I put about 20, just,
It
play
doesn't
around with
matter,
the
just do
settings.
something,
Yeah,
okay.
play with the settings.
I like
You should have more of an
Oh, I
exotic
see.
lightning bolt
It's
now,
got red, yeah.
right?
Okay.
Kind of blow, like it's
Red.
energy, right?
Right.
Like I made the word.
Alright, so I got lost and I couldn't, I copied the
I
frame.
don't know, something didn't work.
The lightning bolt.
Yeah, but in your library you don't have a symbol yet.
Yeah, I know, I didn't even get to make that.
Okay, so select the whole symbol, including the first frame too. There you go. And copy the frames. And then go and insert a new symbol. Call it lightning bolt or lightning, whichever. Click OK. Paste those frames in there. Don't paste the frames, like control click and paste. Let's get rid of that. Control click and paste. Paste frames.
Yeah, it's not working.
Now let's scrub the playhead and let's see what that looks like.
Let's see.
Okay. Now head back to your scene. Now get rid of that layer, add a
Does
new
yours
layer.
work?
Add a new layer
Yeah,
first and
by
then get
some
rid of the
miracle
previous
it
one.
does. Mine
Yeah.
does not work. Do we have to
Hold on just a second.
Like it's not.
Okay. You're selecting, remember, you're on the main tab, we don't want that layer anymore. We created a new layer and dragged the movie clip to it.
I put a
If you're seeing those frames on there, you didn't create a new layer. Because that's what you copied and put into a symbol.
I see what I did.
Okay. It's a procedural thing, guys. So it takes a while. And I know for some of you guys it's like procedure. I hate that word. It's kind of the way it has to work. So here's the deal. Go to your library again. Now, I have this strike coming out here like this, right? I'm going to add a new layer. The previous layer I'm going to double click on that layer. I'm going to call strike 1, just so I can keep things straight for myself.
Strike one.
Strike 1. Right? I'm going to go over here. I'm going to add a blank keyframe. Where do I want to put that? Maybe right at frame 25. And then I'm going to extend the frames here for that. See? So I'm going past here, hitting F5 and extending this. And then there, I'm going to drag another lightning bolt to frame 25. So here's this frame 25. I'm going to go and drag another lightning bolt right here. So if I were to play this right now, I get 2 bolts. Notice one's red and the other one doesn't have any effect on it, because I get to make a new effect for this one. I can select this lightning bolt, go to properties, and the same thing I did before. I'm going to give it a glow. I'm going to change this color maybe to blue. I'm going to amp up my blur and my strength. And I have a red bolt and a blue bolt. Yeah, Austin.
How do I get it to go after the
Okay.
first?
Let's do this one again. I'll do it again. Okay? You already have this, right?
Yep.
All right. You got the bolt. Okay. What I'm going to do is I'm going to create a new layer. So if you guys are having an issue with this, watch this, okay? I'm going to do the timing. I'm creating a new layer. I decided to name this one Strike 1. You don't have to name it. I'm just naming it. Because, you can get confused. Next, I'm going to call this one Strike 2. Which means I only have 1 bolt left, right? Okay, so I'm going to go past here somewhere. And I'm going to hit an F6. When I hit an F6, because there's no artwork on there, it's going to make a blank keyframe, right? Or if I want to, if you want to be precise about it, you can control-click here and go insert blank keyframe too, right? Then I'm going to extend the timeline out here. I'm going to go out to, say, maybe frame 50. I'm just going to hit an F5. And I'm going to go, and on this keyframe here, I'm going to grab my lightning and just drag a bolt to the stage, just like that. Another symbol to the stage. And I have 1 lightning bolt and a second lightning bolt. 1 lightning bolt and a second lightning bolt. Does that make sense?
Yep.
Then we want to give this bolt an effect too, right? And maybe in this case, I'm going to go over here to my properties, because I've got that bolt selected. That's how I get the properties. I add a plus sign. I go to glow. I'm going to make this one purple. And I'm going to increase its blur, and I'm going to increase its strength. And hit Command Return, and there's my purple bolt. Pretty cool, huh?
It's not working.
It's kind of like that He-Man lightning, right? It's not working?
Mine isn't working either.
Like there's nothing on my screen.
Hit Command Return.
Yeah, there's nothing.
For me, it's not doing
Yeah, I don't know what's going on.
Okay, so
What did I not do?
first off, you don't have any frames for that. No, you don't have any extension for this.
Oh, do I not do
So,
it?
well, it would probably be a good idea.
Okay.
Also, too, you have a blank keyframe at the beginning here. That's the biggest part. So we don't have. So if you play this through, we're probably not going to get anything. Let's see, Command Return. Okay. So let's click this close for half a second.
Okay.
Let's select this symbol. What's your selection? Okay. It's a movement. Okay, that's good. All right. So let's give this. You got a blur, all that kind of stuff. Go out here and hit F5 somewhere. There you go.
Okay.
You didn't have anything to play out for.
Oh.
I like your black lightning, by the way. That looks really cool.
He showed me how to do it. It's apparently has like a knockout feature where it just reverses.
Not only knockout, but actually, since you're on a black thing, you could also make this. You can also go into the artwork and you can change the color for the stroke too. There are lots of ways to skin a cat. Yep.
So
Yikes.
the first one's working, not the second.
I don't know.
It's only from the
Because you don't have any thing for this. No.
Ooh.
See that?
I have like 2 in a row. But
We'll extend the frames out.
I have a question on this specifically.
Go out here somewhere. Hit F5.
I don't.
I'll try it. See? Yeah.
I was just gonna ask, so let's say I wanna do something more arcade
Okay.
Just something that requires more of an artistic, like where I'm drawing something.
Sure. I use a Wacom tablet to make it.
Okay, and you would still do that
Like,
in here rather than in Illustrator?
can't-
Yeah, well, it depends. If you're going to do frame by frame type stuff, I would use Wacom tablet in Animator.
Okay.
If I'm doing frame by frame.
Yeah.
Does it make sense?
I started transforming, I don't know.
So this is a nested animation that's actually got a frame-by-frame component to it, right?
Do you have,
And then you can create another one, and see the beauty of nesting? We have this wonderful little animation that we can put in here. And we can give it some effects because it's a movie clip, and we can let it go, and it can play at different times on the timeline, right?
Can you do one more layer so the
Mine didn't
procedure
work, so I reverted.
happens?
Sure. So I'm going to create another layer. I'm going to
Okay.
call this strike 3,
Okay,
and then we're out.
right.
Okay. I'm going to go past here. I'm going to hit an F6.
You're gonna go past, okay,
Well, yeah, because I'm timing them. Or I could put it
I
really
see
anywhere I
what you're
want to,
okay.
and I could come back here if I wanted to, Kelly.
Okay,
I could do that. It doesn't. But I'm spacing them out here. So let's say I put it here, F6,
Okay.
right? And I'm going to do the same thing. I grab the lightning bolt and I put that maybe here. So
Okay.
now I've got this one's going to come out, then this one, then this one. This one, then this one, then this one. That's how it's going to feel. It's going to go. So let's see if that's true. See?
okay.
So,
But I don't know what.
You did something, but you don't know what.
Right.
Okay? Well, I don't know what to tell you.
Sorry.
Is there a way to flip it where you have to come from the other direction?
That's kind of a dicey thing. Yeah, you can. I know what you're saying. So, like you take this, right? Like here's let me lock these down. And I'm going to take this one here. And you can go to modify, transform, and you can flip, be horizontal. Like that. Did you see that?
Yeah.
There's all sorts of effects that you can do with movie clips. The problem that you're going to have with the movie clip, and I'll show you this in just a second. Let me pick another color here, maybe some green lightning. Doom, green. Well, it looks like an angry sky, doesn't it? I am the power. Okay, so now here's the deal. If you scrub the playhead, do you guys see anything? Click off for a second. And I want you to scrub the playhead on the main timeline. Do you see anything happening? Why don't you see anything happening? Excellent. Did you hear that?
Why?
Okay, guys, listen. Listen up here. I asked, did you see anything happening on the main timeline when you scrubbed the playhead?
No.
No.
Right? And I said, why is that? And Simeon replied,
It's a movie.
it's a movie clip. You won't see its main timeline playing out here. Now here's the deal. You might say, well, that sucks. I want to say the main timeline play out here. Okay, so you go and you select them, right? And you say, well, I'm going to change the property of this to a graphic. So I can see it play out on the main timeline, right? So you're clicking here, right? I'm going to click this one here. See, oh, they're locked. That's why I can't get up. There you go. So I click this one, right? And I change this one to a graphic, right? And I change this one to a graphic. Little problem there. What's the problem? Kyle, what's the problem? Do you know what I was doing?
No, I was messing with mine.
Stay with me, right? So I changed them to graphic. What's the problem? Now on the main timeline, I can see them coming out here. What's the problem? Of course, because they're a graphic now.
They can't
They
be
don't-
nested or?
Where's that cool glowing effect?
Oh, right, right.
Where's the cool glowing
Some of the
effect?
Filters.
Right? So there's a trade-off here. Movie clips have a lot more power, but if you're trying to work with them on the main timeline to see how they're playing out, sometimes it gives you issues because you can't see those things out there. It's a trade-off. It's not there's anything broken or wrong. I'm just saying you have to keep that in mind. So sometimes, a lot of times what I'll do is I will check them out on the main timeline as a graphic. When I'm assuming that the actions and timing are right, then I may decide to switch them to a movie clip, add the glows. Does that make sense? Add the glows and those things, because I can't check out timing right now, right? I mean, if these were movie clips, and I wanted to check out the timing
Did you get anything?
of these
No.
things and how they look as they come across
I'm
there,
trying to-
can I do that?
I
haven't
can't
done
get strike 3 yet.
No, see, I'm not getting the black.
I can't do that, right? Because they're movie. I can't see that, so I can't check the timing out. I can check the timing out when I hit test movie, but that might not help me, right? Because I'm trying to. So a lot of times, like I said, I will leave them as a graphic and change their nature as a movie clip, and then do the effects when the time is appropriate. Okay. Are you guys having problems here at the front?
Yeah,
What's going on?
I don't have a lightning bolt. I reverted and. did it-
Reverted?
Yeah,
Why would you revert?
because it wasn't working and I couldn't undo.
Oh, well then if you reverted, you might not have anything in your symbol anymore. if
I
you
made
reverted.
a new
Okay,
one.
click cancel. Let's double click into the timeline for the lightning bolt.
Click on it.
And the-
No, you have to double click that, and that goes into the timeline.
What's your
Double click that.
I,
Let me see here.
double clicking doesn't
There,
work so
yeah.
good on that mouse.
So see, there's nothing in the timeline. That's why you're not seeing a lightning bolt. So when you reverted, you went to maybe before you made the lightning bolt. Did you do that accidentally? No. Can you paste frames in anything right now? Double click into the lightning bolt thing again. Double click. There you go. Now see if you can paste any frames in here. Control, click, and paste some frames. At the beginning. At the
Here?
beginning, yeah. No, actually at the beginning, on that first little blank keyframe.
On this
Control,
one?
yeah. Nope.
Oops.
Click off for a second. There we go. Now control click right there. And paste the frames.
Oh, maybe that's what I didn't do.
Yeah. So, oh, there you go. So now there's your frames. Okay,
Okay.
now you've got something loaded. Now if you put it in there, now you'll see something happening. You had nothing loaded inside your
Okay,
symbol.
that's it.
Click back to the main scene. Guys, it's very, very procedural. You gotta be very sort of focused with that, and then it'll kind of work.
I don't think she
Yeah,
has
it's
anything in her
like
symbol.
I can't get the glow to it.
Okay, let's take a look here. So let's look here.
That's
All right,
all
let's
right.
turn this on so we can see. All right.
I just cut the frame, just the undo.
Okay. So is there anything in your lightning bolts? Nothing in there. That's not the
They're on
problem.
the clipboard.
So if we control click and paste the frames, they'll be there.
Oh,
What did you get set?
It's the symbol inside itself. Let's go back in here.
Do a couple undos and get your frames.
I just want to see. Are you sure there's something loaded in here?
Yeah.
There are. Okay. Let's take a look here.
Couple undos.
I'm gonna make a new layer here.
Or at least paste them.
I'm going to.
He definitely isn't going to.
When you say they're on the clipboard, what do you mean?
No, I know he won't.
There's nothing in there.
He's not gonna want anyone in that area.
Ah, okay. Not in the clipboard, you mean on the, I see, undo, I got you. I thought you meant in the pasting and the copying and the pasting.
No, they're-
Oh, gotcha.
They're in there somewhere.
There we go. All right. We're not speaking the same language. Okay, so we're copying these frames. So now just paste them back in, so you're good. So control click, paste those frames back in. Okay, don't worry. You know what? If it's giving you attitude, I'm not sure what's going on with that symbol. So you know what? Create a brand new symbol and call it Lightning 2. And then you can ditch that other one. But first create a new symbol. So insert new symbol. Great. Call it Lightning 2. Okay, click OK. All right. Now you're inside there. Now control click and paste those frames. Let's go back to the scene. Let's select all these frames again. So shift click, select all those frames. Control click, copy frames. Now go and double click inside your symbol. There, now paste those frames. There. Now get back to your scene. This is where people run into foul, right? They
Yeah.
forget they're inside there, and that's why it tells you that you're facing something. Now let's click on that other lightning and just delete it. You don't need that. Get rid of every. No, just click it. Just click the symbol. And then just delete. There. All right. Now you got a good lightning bolt to drag out there. And what I would also do is I would get rid of all those other layers. Yeah, like make a new, get rid of like at least these 2 bottom layers, and then just drag that movie clip onto the stage.
Did you say you had a PDF at some
I
point
have
that
to
we're gonna
pee?
get?
Yeah, I have to pee. No, not yet. Thank you for asking. I'm good. Yeah, but we're not there yet.
Okay, I didn't
So
want
we got to do this again. We're going to do something else
I
here.
just wanted to make sure
We're
we
going
were
to do
getting
something else.
a
We create
takeaway.
another symbol.
All right.
It's going to be nested, and I'm going to kind of go through a workflow that you would probably work through yourself if you were making this. So, we're going to spend the next about 15 minutes in Illustrator making 15. You okay?
Yeah, I
Okay.
thought I heard 50 and I was like, that's a long ass time.
Well, it is a long ass time, but it won't be that long. We're going to open
go
Illustrator.
to
We're going to make a
Illustrator.
head. And we're going to make features on different layers to bring in, sort of as a normal workflow would be. Okay? Now, I want to caution you guys. I am not asking for Michelangelo's David head. Okay? This does not need to be artwork for posterity. Okay? We want a head, and I'll take you through the layers and make them in the following way that I would make those layers. I made a head earlier today with my class, and it wasn't, anything pretty to write home about, right? But it got the job done. And we're going to make it in layers because this is probably the way you would bring your stuff in if you're going to make, say, a nested head that's going to fit
Yeah.
on a body and everything else. Okay? We're going to set everything up. So let's go to Illustrator. In fact, there you can see my little head.
Okay, some of us
See
are
him from
still
earlier
learning
today?
that.
He's a Luigi. He's an Italian, huh? Okay, so we're going to make another guy. So create a new one. It's not racist.
Some of us are still trying to load this up. So just
Load what?
load Illustrator.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Just
yeah.
don't do anything.
No, okay. Okay.
Wait for us to come up with a new document.
Gotcha.
Thank you.
Somebody keeps resetting my desktop.
It happens every time.
Like every week now.
I think it must be them.
Last semester it wasn't like
Your
that.
files will stay there. Yeah,
The files
that's-
stay there, but my dock is reset every
Somebody keeps eating my candy.
That's you. You're probably.
No.
Is that your candy?
Did you know when
So
I
yours
was
is
when I
not.
was
Mine's still trying.
in college, I was an office worker, right, at a dorm,
Mhm.
and this other office worker, he was a jerk. His name was Frenchie, and this girl had made me a plate of cookies. And it was nice. And she goes, and later on she goes, what did you think of the cookies you made? I said, well, I never got the cookies. What do you mean? I left the whole plate for you. So I went down there, and Frenchie, I says, Laura said she left me a whole bunch of cookies. She says, oh yeah, I ate those.
Nice.
I'm like, but they were left for me. Yeah, but I wanted them. I'm like, you ass. So I got a box of Axlax,
Oh.
and I made some cookies. And I left them down there with a note for David.
You didn't.
He did. And he had an intramural football game later on that day.
Yeah, I bet you that went well.
Oh. He was walking very slowly back to the dorm that day. So I got my revenge. My point being is, you just shouldn't take other people's stuff and reset people's desktops and stuff like that. Because vengeance will occur at some point.
It's gonna come back.
That's right. I was feeling a little particularly evil that day, right?
I
It was
guess.
a "Mwah" moment. But yeah, he never ever took my stuff ever again.
There you go.
Did you eventually tell him that it was you that did that, or what?
Yeah,
Okay.
he was not happy.
I wouldn't be either.
But no one forced him to eat those cookies, did they?
No.
Yeah. See, that's the point.
Oh, that's a good idea.
In fact, I don't know if he ate another chocolate chip cookie ever again in his life. I don't know. Okay. Do we now all have the Illustrator document open?
Yes.
So let's make sure we have our layers open. We're going to create, the first layer is going to be called head, right? So I'm going to call this head. And now you can make your head kind of, I want to say any way you want to. You don't have to make it exactly like mine, but I like to make it somewhat simple. right? So I'm gonna grab a simple round shape here. And we all should know Illustrator pretty well, I'm hoping, right?
That's the point, yeah.
Hopefully you do. You gotta know Illustrator. If you don't know
Okay.
Illustrator, then you're in trouble.
Okay, so you just took
So I'm just making again, you don't have to make the head exactly like
Okay,
mine.
no, that's
I'm
fine.
just, and I'm just gonna give it a little, flesh color here. That's not actually flesh color. That might be my flesh color, but that's not what I consider flesh color.
Okay.
I go with the old crayon box flesh color. Looks a little bit peachy. There we go. All right, so there's my, and then I also want to give it a little character because it looks kind of stupid like that. So I'm going to actually give it a couple of ears, shapes. You don't have to. Again, let this be your own character head. We just want to have certain things. That's all we're looking for. Okay? How you make them is completely up to you, and really, quite frankly, should be.
Sandy knocked your recorder over.
It should be yours. It shouldn't be something that we, especially like I say, we should be very versed in Illustrator if we had the class already. All right, so here's my head. I am going to create another new layer. I'm going to call this one nose. So we want to have a nose layer. And my nose, I'm just going to make a little flat nose. Like that. Just put that in place here. And then I'm going to make a mouth. Probably nothing's really going to happen with the mouth, but I'm still just going to make one anyway. And I use my Pathfinder tool a lot. Just because it's easier to make some of these shapes very quickly. Like his mouth. Smile mouth, some teeth.
Kyle Nicholas.
Do I have to come back there? Do I have to stop the car? Do I
Yeah,
have to
you
pull
do.
over?
Yeah, you do actually.
Kyle, are you not leaving Ariel alone?
She's not leaving me alone. She's picking on my
That's it.
artwork.
We're not going to Disneyland. We're coming back. All right. So let's make another layer. We're going to call this one mouth.
Clearly.
And some of these things may not move at all. It's ours to decide later.
Doesn't matter at all.
Oh my
Shit,
God.
it's fine.
Okay. And then we're going to create. Now this next layer I'm going to call eyes, and I'm not making all the eyes. All I'm actually making are the eye shapes. In other words, just the whites of the eyes is all I'm going to really be doing. So I'm just making some eye shapes here. Okay. And I'm also going to make some eyebrows. So I'm going to create another layer. Call this one eyebrows.
Shoot.
I think I'll use the pen tool to make my eyebrows. Just a nice little, kind of not happy eyebrows, but just they're kind of pointed a little up. So his expression is somewhat innocuous.
Oh, I like that word.
Huh?
I like that word.
It is a nice word.
Innocuous.
Innocuous.
Here we go with the lame jokes again. Oh, shh, me, you have no rights.
You're supposed to say you're not the boss of me.
It's not racist.
It's racist not to be the boss of someone?
No, no.
No.
Inside joke.
Carl, do I have to like put you in sensitivity training?
Oh, yeah, probably, actually.
Alright. So I got some eyebrows. Now you could, at this point, you could also determine whether or not you want the eyebrows to be on a different layer, like have a right eyebrow and a left eyebrow. I'm not gonna get that fancy, because quite frankly, we don't have that much time to like create a whole range of features moving here and there. So, but I'm just creating an eyebrows layer just because, well, you never know. In between the eye layer and the eyebrow layer, I'm going to create another layer, and I'm going to call this, I am going to break these apart into right pupil, and I'm also going to create a left pupil, so that if I want to, I can make him have a crazy eye. Making my little pupil here, putting my little right pupil. And maybe I'll make a little highlight on his pupil too. Right. And I think what I'll do, just so I don't have to recreate the artwork again for that pupil, is I'm going to group both the highlight and the pupil here, and I am going to take that layer and I'm going to duplicate the right pupil. I'm going to select that artwork and flip it. Move it to the other side, and then I'm going to call this one what?
Left pupil.
Left pupil. Very good. So rather than right pupil copy, it's going to be called left pupil. That way, if I want to cross his eyes, I can move the eyes independently a little bit. You know, if they're not going in the same direction, one might come in and the other one comes in, right? And let's see, what else should I put on him? He kind of reminds me of like one of these guys that do you remember those things that you get at the grocery store? Your parents would get you like the little thing with the little magnetic shavings, and you could put like an add hair to him and his mustache and everything like that. It kind of reminds me of that kind of guy.
Mine looks like this.
Yeah. Oh, okay, or Mr. Potato Head for all practical purposes. I'm going to create another layer above the head layer, and I'm going to make a mustache. I'm gonna make a mustache. So I'm just gonna kind of, with my pen tool, come out here and give him a real cool mustache. I was telling the people when I went to that Mama Tried motor show, I was the only person there without a beard or facial hair of all sorts. I felt a little out of place. I wish I could have made a mustache this easily. So here's my mustache. Flip it around so it's nice and symmetrical. Again, you don't have to make a mustache. If you don't want your character having a mustache, you don't give him a mustache. I want him to have a mustache. And I think maybe I'll give him a little hair. I'll give him Elvis do. Bless you.
Bless you.
Now the hair will go behind, some of it will go behind the head. So, drag that. Well, I'm going to try drawing it here. Let's see. Maybe I want to put it behind the head, maybe I don't. I'm not sure. But I do want to make it black hair. So I'm going to make his do. Make his coif.
Sorry.
Bless you. You're not getting sick, are you?
No, I don't think so.
There we go. That is a hairdo.
Wow.
Of course, I gotta make some hair on the other side. Looks so weird.
Really?
Really what?
No.
There. Ah, that's so nice. I'm ready to go beyond me. So. Alright. And then what I like to do for the whole character, and for my head, is I like to go ahead and make it, I'll take the outside line and just increase the stroke a little bit to maybe like 2 points, just to give it a nice solid outline on the outside, you know, kind of makes it look a little bit better, looks more polished. The features then can, you know. If I were really dedicating a lot of time to this guy, I might, you know, I want to take these lines and strokes, and I would want to make them look less vector. You know, use the stroke width tool to make them, but we don't need to do that because we want to get to animating here. So once you have this, let's just save this as head. How far are you guys along? Almost done?
Well,
Mine looks exactly like yours.
Does it? Cool. So maybe I'll give you a few more minutes to sort of get your head together. Sorry. But get everything all squared away. Again, the layers you want, this is what's most important. That we have an eyebrow layer, well, actually, you don't have to, but we definitely want a left pupil, a right pupil. We want a pupil, and then we want eyes. We definitely want eyes, and we want pupils that can work around inside the eyes.
okay, what if our pupils are just black? They don't have the black and the white. They're just black.
I mean, they don't have a little highlight?
Right.
That's fine, but they should be black on a white eyeball.
Yeah, I have
That's
that.
good. Okay, yeah, great. So this is kind of the organization we're looking for. Something like this.
Kyle.
Angry.
No. Yes. No.
You are so gonna get it. One last thing you want to make sure while you're working on this, guys, real quick, under File, make sure document color mode is set to RGB, right? Make it RGB. Yeah, you know me.
So that should be, and that's like eyebrows. I mean,
Yeah, well, you don't have to have eyebrows. Again,
well, no, I mean, what I mean is
Right.
like the.
I mean, I don't have eyebrows, so it's okay.
Right.
I don't mean it by that. I meant just like the
The
eyes above the
organization.
nose. Right.
The most important thing, guys, is your organization.
Organization.
So if you look at your organization, you want to make sure that you've got them in a proper
Head,
sequence here.
mouth, okay.
Yeah. The head really needs to be in the background if possible. The hair could be too, but definitely either the hair and the head need to be really at the very bottom. Okay?
So scary.
What did I do?
Oh, very cool. I like that alternative look. Nice.
Yeah.
Very spiky.
So it's going for.
Ooh, nice angry. Very cool.
See, he appreciates it.
Oh, very cool.
Why does everything have to be?
You love the upturned noses. I think on your gorilla even had an upturned
Yeah.
nose, didn't it? He likes the upturned nose. Very good.
How did you
Ariel's
make your
going for
hair?
like
Did
a
you make it in
beauty queen
shapes
hair.
and then pull it out?
I mean,
How did you make your hair?
let's be real.
I just
Did you
drew
show?
it.
I like your head. Give it a
Just drew it
nose.
freehand.
Give it a nose.
Okay, so you said something about the Pathfinder. You did a lot of things with Pathfinder. I can't.
What do you mean?
The Pathfinder, like I want to do my nose, but I just do like a half shape.
Oh, yeah,
or-
just grab the circle and then grab one of the anchor points at the top and delete it. Right?
Oh, okay, got
Just
it.
like we,
Okay.
you've had Illustrator, right?
Yes,
Yeah,
yes.
yeah. You know how you can take little anchor points and just delete, right? And they just,
Yes,
yeah.
yeah.
Okay. Yeah, don't, yeah, make it simple. Don't worry about making it
All
really
right.
complicated. In fact, you know what? If you
Well-
like a nose, no, so
So I did the
hit
anchor
Command
points.
Z.
Okay.
Get back to the where
Okay.
the, okay. So,
So I hit the
grab
anchor
the
points?
direct selection tool and just grab the top anchor point
Okay.
and delete it.
I think he copied mine.
There you go.
Oh, got it.
See what's happening? You are using the pen tool. to
And then
delete
I
anchor
sometimes
points.
I use
Yeah.
that
Right.
curvature thing. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, cool. How about yours?
I was shooting for big boy.
Swear to God, you put that on your Snapchat story, I'm like,
All right, cool.
He copied mine.
I did.
do.
Okay, so we've got our head. You made sure that the document color mode is correct?
Correct.
Can do that right
All
now.
right. Correct. Okay, so we're saving this file. We're going to go to Animate, and we're going to create a new file, and we're going to import artwork to Stage. So get rid of your Lightning.
Save as.
Save it, obviously, if you refer to it. Right? I made the Lightning, right? You want to keep it. So we're going to go to Untitled 1. We're going to go to File. We're going to import to Stage. And we are going to search for that head that we made. And we're going to import it to the stage.
Oh, I'm not recording.
So you should see all those layers and everything that you came in wonderfully lined up here. Yeah, organization on one program leads to nice start in a new program and saves you a lot of work, right? So we want to import them as animate layers. Make sure that's very important. If your option says single animate layer or keyframes, we do not want that. If you do keyframes, you're going to have on the first frame a nose, on the next frame, you know what I mean? That's going to look really stupid, right? If you did single layer, then you defeated all the purpose of making layers. So you want to create your animate layers based on your Illustrator layers, right? And so you click Open, or Import rather, and there you go. There's your head. Now your head may be a little bit bigger than you want it to. You can select all the pieces. They're all on one, the first frame, so you can easily do this. You can select it and move it in. If you want to grab your Modify tool, you can kind of scale his head down a little bit more. Maybe you intend to put on putting a body later on or whatever. But you can see how nice it is to have all that organization up front, right? And you're used to, or you should be, I should say, used to making very organized layers and artwork in Illustrator.
Yours is just like his.
Right?
Yours is just like his.
Okay, so
My hair's more like big.
let us look at what we're going to do next. What we want to do is we want to now break apart, or not break apart, but turn the different pieces into symbols. But before we do that, we're going to add one thing here in Animate, which we're going to give our character eyelids. And we're going to take advantage of the... So, I'm going to go here where the eyes are, where in front of the pupils. You see this right here on my layers? Right here. And I'm going to insert a new layer. And I'm going to call this eyelids. Now, I'm not going to have him winking, so I'm going to put both eyelids on the same layer. I'm going to have him blinking, though. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to lock up everything except that eyelid layer. Right there. And I'm going to come in with a color. Let's see here. What do I want for my color for my eyelid? I don't want any stroke. I want a purple color for my eyelid. And I'm going to come in. Whoops. Right here. And I'm going to grab my circle tool, load it with purple color, and I'm going to make a purple shape right here on my eyelid layer. Like so. And I'm going to utilize that wonderful aspect of Animate to create the lid. Just like this. Remember how we can use the selection tool and we can start to work with our artwork as if it's something that's got some flexibility, moldability, if you will. There we go. I don't want the eyelids completely up. I want a little bit of a droop to them. If I like that one, you know what I'm going to do is I'm going to take that one. I'm going to hold down my Option and my Shift key and drag another copy to the other side. Go up here to Modify, where it says Arrange, or Transform rather. I should say Transform. I'm going to flip horizontally. And there's my eyelid over for the other side. I didn't have to make a new whole nother eyelid. I can just use the eyelid that I liked on that side.
Could you just go over that one?
I will do that again. Watch this again. Here's the eyelid that I made, right? I'm going to just click this, hold down my Option and my Shift key so that I can create another, just drag out another copy of my eyelid, right? Then I'm going to, with that eyelid selected, I'm going to go up to Modify, Transform, Flip Horizontal. And now I have two eyelids, both the same on both sides. Might want to like just kind of nudge it over slightly so it's got the same relationship on that eye. Just like that.
You know, Adobe could benefit from calling that feature the same thing in each, like Photoshop. and
Yeah.
Wouldn't that be
Illustrator
nice?
and Animate.
Yeah.
It's called something different, and it's somewhere different. Never mind.
So you don't get too comfortable. That's why, right? Okay. So your character now should look like he's got some eyebrows. Hey, it's a me. Come on, animate me now, eh? All right. You might want to save this as head animation. Okay? Good? Are we ready to continue?
Almost.
Do you have some eyelids? Are we good? All right. So now what we're going to do, figure out how long you want this animation for your guy to last in terms of what's going on in the head. Because what we're going to do is we're going to give them some facial tics, some facial movements and stuff like that that can become part of the head, right? So, so if I zoom in now, I'm going to, let's say this, maybe this whole thing takes maybe a second. I'm just going to start out with a second. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to that first second part right there, and I'm going to take that whole range of frames right there, that whole frame range of, and you know what, I just realized I've got really teeny tiny frames. So let me break this out so you can see them a little bit better. There you go. 1 second, I'm going to take all those frames right here, just shift click the entire range, and I'm going to hit F5. Okay?
So you,
I shift clicked, watch again. I shift clicked that entire line right
okay,
down at
at
1
1
second
second.
and hit
Okay.
F5. Okay? Now I'm going to decide, okay, what's going to move, what's going to stay still, right? I mean, seriously, wouldn't that be good? So what do you think is going to stay still for sure? This is the head, right?
Nose.
We could, if you want. What is for sure going to stay still?
The head.
Thank you very much, the actual head. So I don't need to worry about this anymore, right? I can leave that alone, right? So that F5 that I extended those frames, I don't need to put a keyframe, in other words, right? Because a keyframe means what? What does a keyframe mean?
Change.
Something's changing. We don't have a keyframe. What do we have? We just have a frame extension there, right? F5, right? Just saying the span is now to here, okay? So, what else might not move, do you think? Any other things not move?
Maybe the ears don't move. Well,
Okay, maybe I agree with you. How can the ears move? But the ears are part of the head, aren't they?
okay.
So we don't have to worry about that. What else, though?
The hair.
The hair. I don't really think there's a need to move the hair. Now, you say, oh, I want to make move. Okay, well, fine. After we're done with our part, you move your hair the way you would like, right? But we're not going to move the hair, okay? So, what else might not move?
Ears.
Well, we already said the ears because, well, in my case, my ears can't move. They're part of the head.
That's true.
Okay.
Gonna talk.
Well, we don't have a mouse set up with thing. We're going to do lip syncing later on.
So his mouth will.
So the mouth, if the mouth moved, it might move up or down, but yeah, that's about it, right? So someone suggested, well, what about the nose? Well, the nose could move or not. I mean, you could decide maybe as you make this animation whether or not, let me unlock things here, except for the head and the hair. You might decide somewhere along the timeline that you want the nose moving up or down a little bit. I don't know. If you do. But here's what we're going to do. We're going to make some of these things symbols, right? So, for example, right now, you can make a decision as to whether or not you want to make different part symbols, whether or not you think they need to be symbols or not. So for example, I might decide that I go ahead and let's make the mustache move a little bit. And I'm going to go ahead and select the mustache. And I am going to convert this to a symbol. And I'm going to call it mustache. And by the way, I'm going to make it a graphic. There's no real reason, I don't think, at this point to make movie clips of this, only because there's really no effects. I mean, I wouldn't make his mustache glow. I mean, if you want to, then that's your bag. I'm not doing it. So now, if we go here, we say, okay, well, here's the mustache, right? You can look on my library. I have a mustache, don't I? So maybe the mustache, I'm going to make it go right here. I'm going to hit an F6. And at this point, I'm going to take that mustache and I'm going to move the mustache up like that. So here's at the first keyframe, here's at the second keyframe. You see that? Right? Make sense? Now, I want that mustache to land exactly back at the same point it was at the beginning. What could I do? What do you think, Simeon?
Go to the first one, copy.
Exactly. Did you see that, guys? Listen up. I want this mustache, after it's raised up, when it gets over to here, I want it to come back to the same point. So the easiest thing to do is actually just control-click here, copy this frame, and then paste that keyframe right here. So now I have a motion that goes up and down in the same exact place. That's a perfect way to guarantee it. And I can go back and forth between here and create a classic tween and create a classic tween. And look at the mustache here. Hey, Amanda, I lift my mustache at you, eh? Right? Command return. You can kind of see a little bit of a mustache move, can't you? Right. Now then, we're going to work on the eyelids here. So let's go to the eyelid layer. By the way, let's lock everything up but the eyelid layer. And to move the eyelids, we're going to do this frame by frame. Now leave the eyelids open for a while. We're going to go out to maybe frame 5 here. And on the eyelid layer, I'm going to hit an F6. Because here's where I want my first blink to come. Okay? So the eyelids are like this. We get to here, right? Make an F6 again. And now we're going to come with our selection tool right by here. And we're going to start to move our eyelids down. And it might take a little bit of finessing on your part here to get those eyelids away, but you should be able to do it. If you just use circles and put them in their first position that way, and I'm going to repeat the same thing on the other side. There we go. Then I'm going to hit another F6. And I'm going to drag the eyelids all the way down. I'm not going to take a whole long time for these eyelids to come down. A blink shouldn't really last that long, should it? I mean, you could make a really lazy blink, but that would be a particular kind of effect you're going for. In this particular case, I just want to make those eyelids come down very fast. There we go. So we got this going. See? And I'm going to do the same thing that I did before, like Simeon was talking about. I'm going to come here, and I'm going to control-click that frame and copy it. I'm going to paste that on the other side. Right? and then I'm going to come over here, I'm going to copy this frame, and then paste that here. So I get this. So if I were to play this now, and what's cool about this, rather than just a flash of the eyelids open and close, is you see a little bit of the eyelids starting to come down a little bit. I think it's nice to have that second frame in the middle to complete that. So we have this. So if you want to watch this, we've got this. Right? Still the same, because we had an F6, nothing happened, but we wanted to keep it this way so that when we get to here, we can start to move the frames down halfway, all the way, then back up halfway, then up again. And that completes the cycle of one blink. Okay? Pretty cool, right? And with your timing, now we don't have enough frames right now here, but I usually like to do something like this. I like to do this. And then so it's a 1 and then a 1, 2. And that looks more normal. You know what I mean? Rather than just a this. Because it's too, So if I could extend my timeline a little further down, which we can do, I would probably put like a blink blink, right? And then that to me looks a little bit normal. But for now, I mean, this is a nice start, right? Now what about his eyes, right? Now we're not going to move his eyes frame by frame. We're going to turn both his left and right pupils into movie clips, or graphics rather, right? They can then just move nice and smoothly the way we want to within here. In fact, you know what I'm thinking? We might not have a whole enough time for this whole span of what we want to do. So if we want, so if you watch this, let's go down, let's drag this mustache down maybe to frame 30, a nice even number. And then I'm just going to go with these frames and just go ahead and, extend those, F5 here, and extend those, F5. So we've extended the timeline out a little longer now. Now we've got some time to play with this timeline a little longer. Again, nothing's really changed in our movie, right? Now we're going to work on our pupils. So I'm going to lock the eyelids. I'm going to open up my left pupil. I'm going to select that pupil. And I am going to modify this and convert to a symbol, just like I did with the mustache. And here I'm going to call this left pupil. And then I'm going to go and unlock the right pupil and call this one, modify this, convert to symbol, and call it right pupil. Okay? Now here's where I can start to have some fun with tweening with my eyes, right? So let's just say here at, say, frame, I don't know, frame 7, 6, somewhere around there. I hit an F6 for both of the pupils. I'm going to turn off my eyelids so I can see what's happening here. Remember, you can turn off your stuff so you don't see it, so I'm going to turn off the eyelids. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take these pupils and I'm going to move them down to here. Right? So here's my first, then they go like to this. See? And then I'm just going to insert 2 classic tweens in between there. Control click and create classic tweens. So I get this. Then maybe I might put some keyframes out here and move those eyes over to here. And insert some classic tweens here. So here is down, eyes are down, then here, right? Then I might extend out to here, hit F6, and move those eyes over to the other side. Maybe he wants to see what's going on this way, right? Create some classic tweens that way. So we've got a different whole eye thing going on here, right? And then maybe just like before, I'm going to copy these 2 frames right here and copy those frames. And I'm going to insert them right here. And then I'm going to create classic tweens. So here's our eyes. Eyes are going like this, this, and then right back to the beginning. So if I hit it like this, now they're not staying for a while, right? Because maybe I want them to stay for a while, so I can then just go out a little further to frame 40 and hit F5, and we get this. And then maybe here I can also take this blink pattern. You see this? I'm going to turn this on. So what I would do with this, I'm going to copy these frames. I'm going to shift select all these frames here. Copy them. And then maybe come down to here and paste. See, like this. So here, then another blink, and then maybe paste again. Right? I've got some, now notice each time I do that, these frames push out. So I just got to make sure that I just remove them. Because we always want our animation, right? Everything to stay the same length. So here's my animation right now with this guy. Remember I told you about the blink?
Oh, blink, blink, blink.
Right. Blink, 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 blink. See? That's a little bit better. So make movements to your head the way you think are appropriate for the personality of your head, obviously, right? Do you have some tweening and some frame by framing here? Any eyeball rolls and movements with your tweening? Did you make pupils of your eyeballs? Did you tween them in directions?
Yes.
Okay. So they're moving around, huh?
Yep.
Okay. At least get the eyeballs. Have something there that's moving, or the eyelids at least should be moving. You should have something that's going on in this animation on the main timeline for your head that's got some movement. Something that's making it just more exciting than just this head that's not moving any at all, right? So what do you have for yours? Okay, good, good. Crazy's good. Crazy's good. What about you? What do you have going on? You had anything? Okay, let's do some eye roll. You know, get those pupils, make them symbols, and do some tweening with their positions, right? The more things that you have going on in this head, the more interesting it becomes.
I have a question, so if I'm working with the eyelids,
Are the pupils? Yeah, that's what I did. Because when they're down, it's kind of hard to see where they're at, right? Yeah, so just hit that little, where the eye is, eye icon is on that layer.
eyelid, right?
Right. The eye, click that. There.
Oh, okay.
Hide the things that you don't want to see while you're working.
Yeah.
Feeling good?
Question, so if I wanted to use.
We're gonna do this in a second.
Okay, I wasn't letting you like.
Yeah, we haven't done any nesting yet. Do this all in the main timeline right now. Okay? Do this all in the main timeline.
Oh. Trying to do a bunch of stuff at once.
If you got that, maybe see if you can make, turn the nose into a symbol and raise and lift the nose maybe, if you got some time here while other people are working. So you decided to tween your eyebrows?
Yeah, but
Uh-oh.
I didn't make them.
Make them as symbols first.
I didn't make them in Illustrator as separate.
Okay. So, you know, obviously we wanna avoid those. So we'd have to make those symbols first.
Symbols, okay.
Or after you make them symbols before you tween. How about your dude? So you got some tweens?
Yeah, I messed up.
You started tweening before?
Yeah, when I was,
What
You were
happened
getting
there?
too excited, weren't you?
yeah.
Yeah. Well, it's a nice move. Again, we're trying to eliminate those.
Yeah, I forgot about the eyelets.
Well, the eyelids shouldn't make tweens. I mean, all I did was make a frame by frame.
Just whenever I click them, whenever I click the tweens, that's what it says they are.
Well, maybe you were trying to tween the eyelids coming down? Was that what you were doing?
Yeah, I did a little bit.
That's why. That's why it made the untitled tweens. All I did was frame by frame.
Oh, okay.
So if you frame by frame, you don't have to worry. It's when you decide to make two pieces of artwork with a classic tween or motion tween or whatever, is when you're going to get those untitled tweens, right? I didn't really feel that there was a need to with the eyelids because they're just so quick. You know what I mean? Like a blink. Now, and obviously, if you're going to make like, you know, if I had some like lazy dragon, right? And I wanted this dragon to go, you know what I mean? Very slow coming up. Well, then it's pretty hard frame by frame to do that. So I would make the eyelids as symbols and probably do something like that. Actually, you know what I would do is something we're going to do in another week. I believe it's called shape tweening.
Okay, yeah. I saw
And
that.
shape
Nice.
tweening, yeah, is probably where I would do something like that where I could control that.
Yeah, I was just having like troubles getting the eyelids to look like they're normal for the actual eyes.
Oh.
And I kept like drawing and reshaping the shape.
I mean, technically you could make those eyebrow shapes also too in Illustrator and try and do the same thing too as well. But I kind of like to mix up sometimes what my objective is in terms of like, I'll make these main things, and for eyelids, you know, I might just make shapes here and do that, you know, just kind of a fluid sort of decision. Okay. So do we have something with movement on our main timeline? Do you?
I mean, I just have the lids, but
Okay, all right. So then what we're going to do, do you understand it? What would you do if
Yes.
you wanted to make the pupils move? What would you need to
okay.
do?
So I did convert them to symbols.
Okay, great.
I got that far. I would take the one and then move it and then make it F6. Live with the
You,
pupils.
yeah, you don't, you wouldn't, yeah, so,
I mean, I think I have it.
you make an F6 and then you put a tween in between. You make an
Okay.
F6, you move that thing on the new keyframe, then you do your tween,
Okay.
okay?
F6.
Or, you know what you could do, you could also do a motion tween. And
Okay.
move, and move
So
it,
it's just
and
do
it would
here
take care
and
of
then
it.
here.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. So what we're gonna do now is we're going to shift click all of those frames, just like that. So shift click the entire, oh, let me unlock so I can grab them. And we're gonna control, and what are we gonna do? What do we wanna do? What do we want to do?
You want to create the whole thing into a symbol.
So what I wanna do here though,
Copy.
I
all the
wanna
frames.
copy what? Copy the frames. Alright, same thing that we've been doing. We're gonna go, we're gonna insert new symbol. I'm gonna call this head. I'm gonna go inside the symbol and I'm going to paste the frames. This is the thing that you've got to get a handle on and do this over and over again. And this now is all inside a symbol called head. Now I'm going to go back to the scene. I'm going to insert a new layer. Do I need this stuff anymore, guys, in the main timeline?
No.
I do not need it. So I'm going to select all those layers and delete them. And then I'm just going to simply drag out my head. And the head's got it all built in.
Okay, so after you copy your frames to,
You copy the frames from the main timeline.
right,
You insert a new symbol. You name that symbol. You go inside its timeline, which you will by default, and you paste those frames in there.
okay.
Easiest thing. Then get back to your scene,
I stopped recording that.
and there you go. There's your head right there. You should have a head thing in there. If you were to double click on your head, do you have a timeline in there with stuff going on?
Yes,
For sure, right?
yes.
There you go.
No,
You
what I'm
got it.
saying is when you send it
Then
to
you
me.
delete all those layers. You don't need them anymore. Make a new layer,
I'll make a new one.
and then just drag your artwork out onto it. And now see, here's the fun thing about this, guys. I have a loaded symbol that's got everything on here. Let's say I wanted to do this. I drag him off here, and I go here. And I hit an F6. And I bring his little head up. Like that. And then I'm just going to go here, and I'm going to control click and create a classic tween. Hey, what's going on? How you doing, eh? And then I'm going to go here, insert a blank key, or insert a keyframe rather. Come over here, F6, and then drag his head off. And create a classic tween. So I got him going like this. Hey, what's the matter with you? And then he goes down and he leaves. Because that's all contained on the in the head symbol. It's moving pretty fast, so I'm just going to grab this whole length of frames right here and just drag it out so the animation lasts a little longer. Guys get that? Were you able to move it? Did you try moving it? Gotta
I
try
did-
doing that. Make sure you
Moving
can.
the head.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Did you
didn't
make
get
it as
to
a
that.
symbol?
Yes, I did.
Okay. So you get rid of all those other layers now.
And
You
I
don't need
did, but, okay, get rid of eyelids and left pupil and all of that.
But because they're all on the head symbol, right?
Right, but I did, and then everything, when I went to layer, it should all be on layer 7, right? Like if I turn off the eyeball on all these guys.
Okay, no. We want to be on the main timeline. We got to get back to the main timeline.
Okay.
That's the problem. You're getting caught up in
Okay.
you're inside the head.
I don't know what happened there.
Gotta.
Okay.
You're in the scene. You're in the
I
symbol.
have
You
to
got to
go.
get back
I
out
get
to
it.
the main scene.
Okay.
Got to know where you're at, guys.
Oh, that's.
Got to know where you're at. See, that'll screw you up every time. Everyone forgets that part because they're all lost inside the symbol. And there comes the main issue, right? So important. As Yoda would say, know where you're at. Yay. You knew where you're at, right? There you go. How about now?
Yeah, I mean, the head's not moving, but it's fine.
Well, no, it's not fine. I will not leave you saying it's fine if it's not doing what it should.
It's-
Okay, so you're
So-
back on the main timeline, right? Let's
Right.
take a look inside here. You got everything there.
Yeah, I somehow
All right.
lost it.
Now
Okay.
you want to add another.
And I did that, okay.
Now get
and-
rid of all the other layers.
Oh, I know.
And I did, okay, I
So
did
get rid
that
of all
too.
those,
I
okay.
will, I'll get rid of all these guys.
There you go. And delete them.
All right,
Now drag your head out there.
okay, I see. Like that, right, okay.
Now try hit Command Return.
It's just the lids that were
Okay.
Okay,
Yeah, don't say you got it. We want to make sure you do
Okay.
that because you've got to go through that process. You've got to complete the procedure. Okay, it's very important. So let me ask you guys, everyone out there, do you have a head symbol that's on the main timeline with no other layers now, but just the nested layers? So if I were to hit like this is what you should have ultimately right now before you do anything more. See that? Sandy, you're grimacing. Do you not have that? You can tell me if you don't.
No,
Okay.
no.
All right. No one wants to tell me if they don't have something. It's just
I
like
have
so.
that,
Okay, that's
but
great.
I don't have anything here.
All right.
I kept the other stuff
right.
because it's not right.
You have
I
it.
just hit it.
I don't know why that layer's there.
That's all the
Also,
stuff.
layers nested within it. So what do you have? Oh, because it's on a folder.
Yeah.
Okay, so we haven't done that yet.
Cause mine's all, yeah.
okay, your layers, you've extended layers you shouldn't extend.
Right.
So we don't want those. Everything should stop at the same point. Huh?
That's why I kept it, so I can fix it later.
Well, but I want you guys to have everything right before you leave class. Because otherwise it doesn't help anybody. Let's take a look here. Okay. So I'm not sure what's going on here. Or how we got this stuff here. But let's remove that. And here's where everything should be. Okay. All right. This is on the main timeline. Let's look in your head and see what's in your head. Nothing, because you didn't paste anything in there.
That one, head 2.
Nothing
the
in
one
there
that-
either.
Mm.
All right. Doesn't, so again, select, and I'm not sure why that layer's there.
Which one?
That one you had up above it. Okay, I want you to select all those layers.
Okay.
Shift click and select, nope. Shift click, select all those layers. Okay, now control click, all those layers. Copy frames. Go to that head that you have in there, whatever one that you had, that head symbol. Double click it. Not the name, inside the symbol. Go inside the symbol. Double click
Right
inside.
here?
Yeah, double click.
This
inside.
doesn't click, double click.
It does.
so
You got to
good.
double click right on the icon there, and you can get inside the layer. Let's see. Double click that icon. Let's see.
This mouse isn't set up right.
There.
Well, you have the touch
Okay.
apparently.
Well, paste
Okay.
those frames in there. Control click. No. You're about to just paste. You got to control click that frame and paste those frames in there. Paste the frames. Oh. Alright. So you shift click and grab all. Control click and copy frames. There you go. Perfect. Now, we want to double click inside that head again. There you go. Now paste, control click and paste those frames in there. Paste frames.
Oops.
You just copied nothing again. You're copying the nothing. That's what's happening. Okay.
That's the deal.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
So, again, I want you to go through this yourself. Okay. So I want you to copy those frames. Control click and copy those frames. Okay. Double click inside the head symbol. There. Now, don't go fast. Control click and paste the frames. There you go. Now get outside to the main scene again. Are you on the main
Okay,
scene?
yeah.
Delete those layers. You don't need them anymore. Okay?
I'm putting in a new layer though too, right?
You are, but you're going to get rid of all the other stuff. So put in a new layer, that's fine, but get rid of everything else.
Then I don't, then I have to drag the head over from the
Yes.
library. Alright, that was the part that I didn't write.
Very procedural thing.
So, yeah, cause I was like, wait, now what do
I find most people at this point have a really big
Okay.
issue because procedure's not something that people know more, especially when they're being creative.
Mhm.
I mean, let's face it, you get paints, you do whatever you want with your paints.
Mhm.
You get clay, and this can be creative too, but you do have to kind of get into the procedure. Once you get that, it's good,
Okay.
The creativity can come, but the procedure has to follow first. Now drag that symbol of the head onto your stage. There. Now hit Command Return. There you go. It's nested. It's a nested symbol
Okay.
with everything.
I
So
got it.
now, and watch what I'm doing, guys. Watch. You have just done the symbol. You've got it on the stage. Now it's something that can be moved. So if I want the head here, and watch again, if I move it here, hit an F6 or so, right? I move the artwork. No, watch. Then do. Then I go here, and I control click, and I create a classic tween. See? The head goes with it. All the nested things go along with it from there. Or, if you want to do a different kind of tween. Let's say I get rid of everything here and remove these frames, right? Maybe I go to here and I go control click, create a motion tween. Same principle here. Here he is right here. Here I go here. Here I go here. Here I go out like this. And look at the head as it goes through. That's actually taken a really long time, so I'm going to extend it out here so you can see the full range of motion as it translates there. See? It's nested, it's self-contained, it's going to move there. Okay? You've got to go through this experience of making a nested symbol and remember those things. Now, I have this walking boy. Let me bring him up here real quick. And let me see. Actually, I'll just do a find. Walking. So here's walking boy. Let me just show you this. And I want you to look at this because I'm going to have a PDF with step by step. But I want you to watch what I'm doing, okay? Because there's a big disconnect when you guys are working and I'm trying to show you something, because you'll admit, right? You look down for 1 minute, you skipped something, right? So here is this animation created of this walking boy. It's on the main timeline like this. Once it's set, notice how everything is constructed and set up here. I'm going to unlock everything. We've got little joints. I'll use my transform to see how everything's sort of set up here. Everything, all the little joints, how they're all set with their little pivots, exactly where they need to be. And you can see if as I move it, guys in the back, watch again. Don't be distracted. Watch what I'm doing, because otherwise you're going to leave here and things won't make sense. So all this stuff is set up. Pivot points are very important. This pivot point, this pivot point, this pivot point, so that everything, when it moves according to its pivot point. Can you see how that works? Right? The only thing I really actually have set up here is, it's all really frame by frame for the most part, but the only tweening really is on his head. Back and forth is a motion tween. I then, once I get my animation set up the way I exactly want it on that main timeline, I go and I select everything. And by the way, all this artwork was set up in Illustrator according to the same layer setup, so when I brought it in here, I had that preserved, right? I go, I control click, and I go copy frames, right? I'm going to go, and I'm going to go insert, just like you guys did with your head. I'm going to go walking boy. I think I probably have walking boy on here already, so I'm going to call it walking boy 2. Here's the symbol. I control click on here and I paste the frames. All these frames are now inside this wonderful nested symbol called walking boy. I'm going to go back to the scene. I'm going to create a new layer. I'm going to get rid of all these other layers. I now have a perfect little symbol here called walking boy. I'm going to bring him out here onto the stage. Right? I'm going to give myself a lot more frames out here. I'm extending this. I'm going to go back to normal. And I'm going to go, say, maybe out to frame 100. I'm going to hit an F5. This is going to be my expanse of my entire movie for 100 frames. I'm going to go to frame 30. And I'm going to move him out. Whoops, not this part. I'm going to go to frame 30. I'm going to hit an F6.
Transformation.
Huh?
Transformation tool.
Transformation point I don't really need to worry about at this particular point. I'm in an F6 here.
You're in your transformation tool.
That's fine.
Is that for
Yeah.
moving it?
Yeah, I'm not, all I'm doing is it doesn't matter at this point. Yeah, if I decided to move my point someplace, it would matter. It's not really going to matter here. It's the same thing, see? So I'm going to take this. I'm going to go to this point here. Move it all the way across like this, okay? And I'm going to hit an F6. Or not F6, create a classic tween, right? So here we go. He walks across like here. See that? Then I'm going to come back over to here, and I'm going to hit an F6. I'm going to take the transform tool. I'm going to scale him down. And I'm going to put him maybe over here. Right? I'm also going to flip him. So he's facing the other way. And then I'm going to come over here. I'm going to hit an F6. And I'm going to move him all the way across on the other side, just like that. And we're going to go here, control click, and create a classic tween. He's nested. So I've got him walking across really quick here. He's walking across here. Same symbol. It's nested, so I can just keep, so here's the movie if I play it out, command return rather. Oh, I should take it more off the stage, which is something that you can, yeah, it's not a problem. I'll just go over here. We know that he needs to be brought off a little further. We know over here he needs to be brought off a little further. Let's see how this plays out now. There. Isn't that the power of a nest that you see? So everything's inside that little symbol moving. All you guys have to do is just figure out on the main stage what it is you want to have this character doing. You see how important it was to break everything? Here's let me look at the library. Arm, hand, head, lower leg, tennis shoe. All those things are in symbols first, and then you tween. When I look at your library, I shouldn't see a single untitled tween. Right? Because everything's going to be a symbol first. By the way, notice that even though I made these symbols, how many things actually were tweened? Not really that much of anything. Now, if I decide I want to, I certainly can, can't I? Because they're already symbols. So what I'm going to put on Blackboard, just so you guys know, is this thing. It's called How I Made a Nested Symbol by David Esprivola. Okay? And it will go by step for you on how I do it. Now you may see some other people, you may see some 2-year-old Russian kid doing it a different way.
That lives in Australia.
Right, that lives in Australia. But, or how I roll in Flash. Now it's called Animate now, but you get the idea. So I go, oh, somebody animate me now. Make sure that your artwork in Illustrator CC is made in named layers that takes into account how your character might move. Make sure that you select RGB under. So I go into every little step here. Step 1, step 2, step 3, step 4. By the way, we did all this today in some way. He goes, oh, where the heck am I? Now that you're inside the symbols timeline that you named, notice the red circled symbol named. Control-click the first blank keyframe on the middle and menu and paste your frame. See all those things that we did today? Step by step. Animating him. Then going here. And then saying, okay, put him on the stage. Put him where you want. Add a keyframe at different places. See, all that stuff is there for you. And then there he goes. He's walking. Okay? I wanted to show you the file so you can see. You will do the same thing. You're going to do the same thing with whatever you make. But those are the step-by-step procedures, right? I mean, you can't break it down really any more than that. I mean, that's exactly how you would do something like that. Now, your character may have wings that flap. Your character may have a little undulating belly that goes from side. I don't know. It's your kind, right? Your abs may ripple as he moves. I don't know. Whatever it is, have that done. But, do that. This is the procedure for doing it. Again, I'll have it on Blackboard, right, so that you can refer to it step by step. There's like 13 or 14 steps because I break them down really, further right into there. But this is that same character that you have those steps for that's kind of moving like that. Okay. Walk sequence. That's a very basic walk sequence. I mean, there's all sorts of different kinds of walk sequence. This may or may not be your kind of thing for a walk sequence. You might want something much more elaborate. This is just kind of more of a shuffle kind of thing, but it works. It gets the idea across. Again, it's all dependent on your character. If you have a character with really long limbs, obviously his walk cycles will be different from a little, Charlie Brownish kind of character with tiny short limbs that kind of goes across the stage like that. Okay? Cool? Refer to the file that you created in class just to say, hey, I did this. I did it. I can do it again. Look at how it's structured. Look at the fact that you made it. Remember, you made it on the main timeline. You copied frames. You inserted new symbol. You pasted the frames in. You went back to the main timeline. You have something now that you can move. I mean, that's basically what we're doing. This breaks it down. The PDF breaks it down further, but that's kind of what we're doing, right? Again, make your artwork in Illustrator. Don't make your things harder for yourself and more torturous by trying to make them in Animate, because let's face it, you got Illustrator under your belt. Let's take advantage of Illustrator and make all our stuff in there. Okay?
What do you want done for the homework page?
Well, I believe I have it on there to make a nested animation.
Just a nested animation.
Yeah, that's all I want you to make. It says
Do you want
here.
us to use our character?
You can do any. I mean, you can make a character just for this. I want you to be comfortable making this. So if the character that you made, you're going, oh my God, I've got to nest this, then don't. Okay? You don't. Make a character that will help you learn in terms of this. So yeah, make a nested animation. It can have classic tweens, which we've been working in, or it can have motion tweens. It can be frame by frame inside it or whatever, but it just needs to be nested and on the main timeline moving and doing something, and these things are going on at the same time. It might be a character that's like, you know, doing this as it moves across. Fine, but that's nested, you know. Okay? Cool? All right. Sweet.
Makes more sense now.
It does. It takes a while, and I understand that. It will. It's going to be kind of a struggle here, but there will be. Everyone, every semester, I don't care who it has been, at some point has what they call the epiphany, where everything just kind of goes like this. Oh, and it happens. Sometimes I can audibly hear the oh. That's cool. Doesn't matter as long as it happens. Do try if you can within the next 12 hours to work on this. Well, yeah, 24 maybe at
There's
the
some
outset.
truth to that,
Don't
really.
wait. Yeah, don't wait. My point is till Sunday night because then it may not be good.
I've done that previously.
I know, and that's never fun. Yeah. Okay. Cool.
Save often.
Yes.
Yes.
Don't corrupt your file by not saving.
Did the ibuprofen help?